everyone's having a great day. This is YQG in Bloom, and I am your host, Tracy Martins. Now, today this podcast is sponsored by Auntie Aldo's Kitchen. Now, my husband and I love Auntie Aldo's and their wonderful coffee shop in the Windsor, Essex County area. Alex offers a huge variety of ham pies, pastries, soups, savory pies, you name it, she's got it. I personally love the chicken pot pie and her ham pies. The peach is amazing. She also offers a lot of coffees, lattes, teas, you name it, she has it. And the beauty of Auntie Aldo's Kitchen is they are all locally sourced products that she uses, including the roasted beans for the coffees and the espressos. So make sure to stop in at Auntie Aldo's Kitchen if you're in the Windsor, Essex County area, and make sure to follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Now today I'm talking to Christian Saab, and he is the brains behind CPG Recruitment.
It's me.
Thank you so
for
much.
having me. How are you?
What made you start this company?
Short story or long story?
Either or, both?
I was an engineer at Chrysler. I wanted to have a business for myself. I started a higher end mobile detailing business. We did cars, boats, RVs for such 70% of my customers were upper wealthy business owners. So for 2.5 years, I would interact with business owners 70% of the time, and I was very curious about what they did for a living, how they made their money, and I was learning all the different ways. I was 23, 24 years old, so I'm learning all these different industries, and I wanted to know what was the difficult part about their industries as well. And after a couple of years of asking the questions of, why you got into your business and how do you make your money and what's the biggest headache in your business, there's always a unique answer for the first two questions, but some way, shape, or form, everyone was saying the same thing of what's the biggest headache in your business. And if you take a wild guess what that is, it's people. And from the guy that doesn't have any employees and says, I don't trust people, so I don't want to hire them, all the way to the guy who has 1,000 employees. And he says, my biggest headache are people. So after a few years of keep on hearing that, I said, you know what, there's got to be something there. I was searching and searching for, how do you unlock that problem of people? Because the detailing business was a fun business for me, but I knew it wasn't forever. I knew it was going to be a 5-year play, and then I'm going to be looking for what's my forever business. And it just, to me, seemed like the biggest problem out there in every single business, in every city, across the world. They're all saying the same thing, people. They need people. So from there, it was just a matter of just kind of studying the problem. Now, at that point in time, I didn't know what I was going to do, whether recruiting or training, right? I didn't know. Yeah. But I was studying the problem, and I found that the Achilles heel could never find the right people. Because you'd hear some people say, I'd hire somebody, and after 3 months they'd leave me, or a few weeks or whatever. So, at first I thought is it like the onboarding? Is it the training? But really, I then really figured out that the Achilles heel of this whole the success of building a team was, did you find the right person in the first place? Well,
right? And that's hard to do. Yeah. That's a full-time job.
Yes. So that's where I said, you know what, recruiting. Let's get right into it. And I aced it. Within the first 2 weeks of starting the business, I got my first customer, and the first invoice was $40,000. So I was very happy. I knew I hit, and I was 26 years old at the time. So I knew I hit something where clearly the problem is that important that businesses would pay that, right? So I knew I was in the right place, and this was just about 5 years ago. And fast forward to today, we've got, about 15 people in our organization, and here we are, got a nice place. And
it's very nice.
We've got, most importantly, out of all of it, is every single customer that we've ever had has been happy. I could proudly say I've never taken a cent from anybody and disappointed.
Now, I was going to ask you what made CPG stand out above the rest, but right there it tells it's your dedication to the businesses and to the people as well, to make sure that it's a really good fit. And you're not like the usual recruitment or personnel place where you hire them and you're paying them. This is basically you're connecting them.
Yes, so there's two types of recruitment staffing companies out there. There is a difference. So staffing is the temp agencies where a business will say, I need to borrow a bunch of people on a contract, send them in, done. Time and place, great. And then there's recruitment companies where the street language is headhunting. We're the people that are just matchmaking. So there's many businesses that you can use both models. One model is very, very, very good at finding you 50 people like by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to do that. I'm never going to do that, right? They're very good at that. There's a lot of very good agencies around here that are very good at, here's the volume, here's the people, you need it, you got it. For me, it's finding the right person. And yes, there is a difference. The problem is when someone goes to a temp agency and they tell them, yes, we could find you the right person, but they're using the same strategy for volume. You can't do that. There is a finesse. You can't ask the facility that builds Honda Civics to build you Ferraris. You cannot do that. But you can ask the facility that builds you Ferraris to build you Honda Civics.
Yes.
Because you need to make 1,500 a day, not one perfect car a day, right? So there is a big difference.
There's huge.
But both could work together. So yeah, no, that's where I fit in. Is businesses call me when they need help building their team and they just want to hire somebody and not have to deal with it anymore, and that it's the right person's here and they could focus on building their company.
Now, do you deal with larger businesses or?
My range is anywhere from, I've got customers that have only 4 or 5 employees all the way to 700 employees.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So
Across Canada and the U.S., multi-locations.
now the people that are in the States, do they hire from Canada or do you guys have a company over there?
We find Americans for Americans and Canadians for Canadians. And if the scenario brings it that, obviously being here in Windsor, the Detroit area, if somebody is willing to do a visa for someone in Canada to go to the States, it's not a problem. But no, our infrastructure, I got staff in the States and I got staff all the way here, so we're good.
That's awesome. Now, did you have a hard time finding staff?
Myself personally, see, for me, it was, and I imagine this is actually a problem for many people. So I've always found the right staff for the time of the business. For me, my scenario, the business was growing and growing and growing at a very fast rate. 5 years ago, it was just an idea. And then, we've come this far to where we are today. Sometimes the business could surpass the employees that you have. So I myself have had to let go of people, replace people, bring them in. But I've had people that have stayed along the way. So I think my longest lasting employee is now 3 years. Everybody has a chapter. A person has a chapter and a business has a chapter. And sometimes the chapters, they line up together, sometimes they don't. And that's what my customers see. That's what every business has to deal with. Because as the business evolves, everyone has to evolve with it. And if there isn't that same path going forward, at some point in time, you have to tie it up. I always find the right people, though, for the time that I'm in. Because it's always a problem and a solution. It's like, okay, my business went to this level now. And the problem I had with the previous person that couldn't make the cut to now, this is what was missing. So now let me find the person that could fill that void and start the new chapter.
Well,
right?
sometimes finding new people or letting go old people and finding new people, it's that learning curve. You really are able to finesse the perfect person for your job. Working with the same businesses all the time, you really get to understand what they are looking for and what they need to make their company happy.
Yeah, and it's funny because people, they're always saying it's very hard to find people, and I think it's the easiest thing ever. It just took a little extra time, probably about 3 years of trying to figure out how to do it. But I obsessed over the topic, and now it's fun. It's good. We meet people all the time. We're always talking to people that are trying to advance their careers, and it's a fun topic. It's a fun topic, right?
It makes you think because a lot of businesses, whether they're small or big, they just figure, okay, I have HR, so HR can go out and find me the people, but they're also dealing with other problems within the company. This is something you really need a full-time worker to find you the perfect person, even if it's for the smallest low-level job, because those people are the beginning cog.
It's funny you say that because, people think recruiting and automatically they start thinking of everyone in HR. To me, so incorrect.
Exactly.
So incorrect. Like, the put it to you this way, the best recruiter is the business owner. Because the business owner is attracting people to come and work for them, right? Any management is a recruiter. The fact that HR always gets bucketed with the whole recruitment thing never made sense to me. I'm an engineer. I have zero HR background. I know nothing about HR. As a matter of fact, I probably have broken every single HR policy out there. The recruitment is not HR. It has nothing to do with it. If you actually use some HR principles, you'll never find the right person.
No.
It's just that simple. Recruitment is all about putting two people together that truly believe they could be each other's solution and enjoy working together. That has nothing to do with HR. So, like I said, the business owner is the best person to recruit because they're designing the team that they want to be with.
Exactly,
right?
But they're too busy to go out and look for them because they're running a company.
Yes. That's when they go and they ask HR to work on it. So I host these recruitment and retention seminars. And I usually have about anywhere between 40 to 60 HR professionals at once. It's a 1 hour long lunch and learn that I do every couple months. And I always ask the question, is anyone here in HR that's working on a position and has no idea what the position is about? And at first they're shy, and I'm like, listen, the sooner you acknowledge that you don't know what a position, like if an HR person's working, trying to find a millwright, and I ask them, do you know what a millwright even is? And at first, I make them comfortable, and then they start putting up their hand, and it's like, I have no idea what a millwright is.
Exactly.
Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. Teach me, right? So that 99% of the time, an HR person has no idea what the position is, right? That's the biggest mistake. So, I find that businesses, they, especially the bigger they get, they lack the communication with each other. They just kind of bounce it off to the next department to deal with. I think HR has like this magic wand that could just pull people out of anywhere, but really the best recruiter for a position is literally the hiring manager, the person who that person will be reporting to. That's the best recruiter. So everyone needs to be all hands on deck with recruitment, but obviously reality comes is no one has the time for it. Right. Nobody has the time for it. So that's where my business exists, where I come in and the first 2 weeks of onboarding a customer, we're actually not sending them a single person. We're not even recruiting. The first 2 weeks is us getting to know them and obsessing over the position and obsessing over every hiring manager, who they are as a person, where's the business going, what do they actually need as far as not just a job description, but as far as a personality. It's very important. So I make my customers, I tell them, listen, everything's for you, and it's tell me what you want. You want them short, tall, young, old, you name it. I don't care. It's the environment, right? Because I've walked into businesses where everybody's age is roughly like 50 to 60. So why would I put a 20-year-old with them?
Exactly.
Why would I do that? HR would tell me otherwise. Nope, get stripped. Well, guess what? This person, the 20-year-old's eventually going to either make all these old guys look bad, or they're not going to fit in, or whatever. Maybe it's just, you got to put people that belong together. It's like friendships, right? This is where I challenge some of the HR principals. They say, well, at work, you make all these rules of who should be working together and who shouldn't be, right? Whereas it's like when you go home, you have a friends list. You have people you like and people you don't like. Well, that's human nature. Human nature always wins. Always, every single time. So I'm a big human nature guy. So when I walk through a business, I understand what they do for a living. I walk around, they show me what they do as far as, their how they take care of the customers, all that. But what I'm doing is I'm walking around and I'm reading personalities. I'm talking to every single person. Like when I do a walkthrough every facility, I seem like the nicest guy ever. From the front desk person, hi, what's your name? What do you do? How long have you been here for? And reading out and listening to their tone of voice, their energy. I'm walking through the offices. Do I hear noise, or is it very quiet? Or is there a little bit of pace and people are moving and it's fast paced and things are going? Is it loud? Is it a very, independent type of a role? So it's like I look at all of these things where it's like that's the environment that you're in, and from there, once I understand the environment, I understand the people, and I understand the direction of the business and what someone wants, from there it's the world's easiest thing to find someone that fits in, because now it's like all I gotta do as I meet people, it's like, you know what, I could see them fitting. We have that human instinct of you could see someone like fitting in.
Well,
you know what I mean?
And that's great, because a lot of the other companies, and I'm not bashing companies, because they're good at, like you said, they're good at what they do. They're good at what they're needed for.
Yeah.
But with you, your goal for the company is longevity. And you're willing to also, I like that you're willing to look at the older person as well, because most of them, it's almost like they look at age first and then they'll look at experience. So they figure, okay, I'm going to get the younger person that's going to last there for 40, 50 years. Are they really? Probably not. They're not going to retire from this company, especially if they went to, say, a temp agency. It's just going to be short term. And I like the fact that you're looking at who's going to be the better fit and the age as well. I like that.
Absolutely, 100%. Every aspect of it matters, right? So even now on the job seeker side, our interviews are very unique, where we really want to understand that person's situation, and we tell them, because when you get someone signing up for an interview, their automatic goal is to try to guess what you want to hear and just make them sound perfect, right?
Yeah.
So what we do, and it's a massive advantage for us, is we tell them, well, listen, we're here to help you, and we have multiple positions. What is it you actually want? Because you may be applying for this position, but it may not be a fit, but I might have something else that would be even better for you, will make your personal life even better. That question right there makes everyone very relaxed, and then they start telling us, well, this is my situation, this is why I need to leave my current job, and it's because I need this, or whatever. And we start getting to know their personalities, and that's where the matchmaking starts happening at another level rather than just reading a resume. I myself have probably read 2 resumes in my whole life, and I probably just skimmed over it real quick, and I've never hired, I have 15 employees, I've never looked at a resume. I never even asked for it.
And I love the places that are looking for jobs, and it has to have a cover letter. Okay, so basically you're telling me that I need to tell you everything you want to hear, but you don't know anything about me. You know my education and you know my job history.
There's some very outdated strategies out there, and obviously the resume still has to happen, but when all of them look the same, it's like, well, it's a very interesting time right now that we're in. I don't know if you were watching the news a couple nights ago. I think it was last night. He said Windsor actually has the highest unemployment rate. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
The other night, we're at like 9.1%. And I at this point, I feel like I have enough data to call it fact from my end, from the data pool that I've been making, is that the talent in Windsor doesn't match the jobs in Windsor. So I relocate people almost every month from across the country to come here. I feel like I might win the award of the guy who's relocated the most people to this city in the last year.
Well, you need to start up real estate as well then.
No kidding, yeah. I actually have some realtors, they call me and they're friends of mine. They say, I got someone who's in London or in Toronto and wants to buy a house here in Windsor, but they need a job, so I do it, right? But I've relocated, like we got a guy who just moved from Alberta. He just this weekend actually. He just moved in from Windsor as a millwright. So the point that I was going to make is that the jobs that are in Windsor compared to the talent pool in Windsor, they don't match. So jobs are actually being filled, but there's so many people that are still left that now it's like there's less jobs than there is people, right? So it's a very large problem that's taken decades to bring us to this point. And I personally think it's because it's the lack of diversification of industries in this city.
Yeah.
We have all these, you have to look at the universities and the colleges here and think of all the programs that they have, and then look at the actual industries that are here. You've oversaturated on certain industries. For example, engineering, oh my God, like oversaturated that to the point that you ruined an engineer's life. They ruined it. They were not, I think someone got greedy from and I'm not afraid to say it, someone from the education system got greedy and said we could bring in a ton of people to sign up for a master's in engineering program. They made a ton of money, good for them, but they ruined people's lives. I see people coming into my office every single day. There are very smart people that have a master's in engineering that have to go back to their country because they've been here for a year trying to find a job and no one will hire them. And on top of that, forget about the students. Let's talk about, I'm an engineer myself. So when I graduated in 2014, my starting salary was $71,000, okay? I ended up making about 100 grand in my first year because of overtime. Great. Awesome, at 22 years old. Even if I just made the 71,000 at 22 years old was awesome. I was living for like $500 a month. It was fantastic. Like I loved my life. My gosh, I don't know what happened after that. But now you could hire an engineer right out of school for 45, 50,000.
Yeah.
All day long. They undervalued the market completely. Supply demand.
Yeah.
That's simple. So rather than diversifying, now I feel like they're doing the same thing with accountants. Now I'm seeing all a wave of people coming in for a master's in accounting or a program they got it out of the college there. And watch in a couple of years, there's going to be a problem in that industry. But they went so engineering heavy because of the old castle and all this stuff.
I was going to say that.
But what about the trades though? They just looked at engineers. Well, what about the millwrights and what about like no one knows how to work with their hands anymore.
No.
Right? And no one focused on that. So now every company that comes to me, they're like, I have an aging workforce. They're going to retire in the next 5 years. And I can't find a young 20-year-old that knows how to weld, that knows how to plumb or be an electrician, et cetera, right? So I think it stems from the education system. It stems from the direction from way up politically that they mismatched the entire, they didn't look at the whole picture. They didn't look at the whole picture, and now we're finding people from outside of Windsor to come, and we're filling these jobs.
Yeah.
These jobs, we are finding people for them, but unfortunately, some of the times they're not here in Windsor.
Well, I think the problem also with the educational system, like you said, the university and St. Clair, is they want to bring in students, international students. They're big on that, thinking that they're going to go back to their homeland and work and do that, but they're staying here and they're trying to find jobs here. And like you said, then it's oversaturating. Like my son, he's a carpenter, or he just finished his second session of schooling, but he started right with the union and they're looking for people. And he could be anywhere. He's worked in Sarnia, he's worked in Chatham. Carpenters are in demand, and there's not a lot of people going. I think we need more tradesmen. They need to look at the trades instead of the higher ups.
But that's even just with what we have. Well, what about all the other industries? Like, I think we lack industries here. We've got to. It's either you're going to go out and eat and drink, or you're going to go and work at one of these factories that are here. What other jobs do we really have?
Exactly.
Like you got the odd, one or two software companies that are here. You got there's maybe a few recruitment companies that are here. There's obviously in the healthcare is there as well, but I think it's something that's going to take decades to fix, and I like being part of the solution. I feel like I'm part of the solution every day, because at the end of the day, we have businesses that need people every day. Like, that's there. So it's funny because they say, okay, unemployment, there are no jobs, but I talk to business owners every day. They're saying, I can't find the right person. That's the key word. They can't find the right person. It's not that they can't find people. They get hundreds of applicants every single day, but who is the right person? Yeah. And then you start adding in the cost of doing business. Being in business is not cheap. A lot of businesses, I'd say most of the businesses, 9 out of 10 don't have the luxury of bringing someone and paying them and training them over the next 6 months to a year.
Well, and
they don't.
But that's also the problem. Like you say, we have a ton of people that want the jobs, so they're hiring them and they're training them. They're wasting all this time training them, spending the money and taking people from one job to another to train these people for them to not work out, to do it again and again and again. And it ends up costing the businesses more money, and then the businesses are struggling. People are
it's all connected.
Lost.
So inflation goes up and makes a business very tight, right? A business is very tight, and that means they lose the luxuries of having training programs. Now it's like, no, we're tight right now. We need to find the right person so we can make money. No training, turnkey, right? So that's obviously where I fit in. That's where things have been good with my business, because that's the problem that I solve. But with now businesses, they're like, we need the right person. So it's unfortunate for all these junior people that are here that they're the ones skyrocketing the unemployment rate, but it's a scenario where it's extremely hard to fit. There's only a few businesses here that have the luxury to bring someone in and give someone a chance and have them learn over the next year. No one else could do that. Small businesses can't do that. You're talking the businesses that could do that are any of the big names like the Vistaprint, the Jameson, Chrysler, any business that's a multi-billion-dollar company that's here. They're the ones that have that luxury, but you can count them all on a couple hands. There's not that many of them, right? The rest of them are small businesses that need the right person. And from there, that's where it comes to finding the right person that just doesn't happen to be here.
And that's why I think it's great that you are helping the HR people to realize that they need help as well. And I think you could train other recruitment companies to think like this, because we need it. I mean, to even all these people that we have here that can't find jobs, well, maybe find them something in London or something in Toronto. They might have better fits in Brantford or something.
You know what? I'm glad you bring that up, because even for me, like I grew up in Toronto and I moved here for work. I think people feel like, you know, they have to stay home. It's okay. Go for a little adventure. If the work isn't here, go somewhere where it is.
Yeah.
Right? And I've told people to leave Windsor. There's a good group of people I said, you need to leave Windsor. You're not going to find work here. You need to go to a market where it's way easier and just you can get a job tomorrow. Right? I think what will fix the solution is people that are here that can't find a job here, they need to acknowledge that maybe this isn't the market for them. And then, and vice versa with businesses and through the education program, we really need to take a look at what we do have here and actually build talent for it. Right? I think there's a mismatch, but I'm not the complainer where I'm just sitting there saying, you know what, there's a mismatch and just yelling about it. No, like there's solutions for it. It's actually not hard. Like when a company tells me I need to find the right person, give me a couple weeks, I'll find them for you. Like it doesn't take long with us. It's within a month, the job is taken care of. We found them. They would have been suffering for a year trying to find someone, and within a month, I'll take care of it for you. But sometimes the answer is look outside of this city. So that's just the unfortunate part of Windsor right now. What's going on with it? I think it's the lack of diversification, and the education system isn't paying attention to the industries that we have. Once that happens, I truly believe that you know, this could be one of the best cities in the world by far.
And sitting here talking to you, it makes so much sense why this morning I watched your TED Talk. Yes, he did a TED Talk a month or so.
About a month
or
so.
Yeah,
and a month ago,
it was all about making decisions. And basically your job is about that. And I think people need to learn from you a little bit more. Like, tell me about that TED Talk. It was so good. I couldn't even do it justice.
Well, thank you for the compliment, but I'm not that great, but I'll try to be. I strive to be, at least.
It made me sit there and think. I said to my husband as we're on our way, I'm like, it's about decisions. I'm like, oh my God, it's so easy.
So it really is. So I'll kind of do the mini TED Talk right now where the average day human being makes anywhere between 33 to 35,000 decisions. Okay, now most of those decisions are simple decisions, like you chose to wear that shirt today. Right, and that necklace, or which chair you're going to sit in, this one or this one, right? It's those decisions you don't even realize you're making, so they add up fairly quickly. But once in a while, you got to make a decision that's actually important. And in order to make an important decision, there's two types of decisions. You're either going to be impulsive or you're going to be confident about it. The impulsive ones, if you're lucky, you could say, you know, you gambled a little bit and it worked out. But most times it's a gamble, and most times it doesn't really work out that well. Right, I think every impulsive decision tends to be a little bit regretful after the fact, right? So then the key is, how do you make more confident decisions with the decisions that are more important in your life, right? Such as getting a job, if we're going to keep it to this topic, right? Getting a certain type of job, or where can you find that job, right? Or even then, I actually personally don't even like the word job. That's why I named my company Careers People Growth, CPG. It's careers. Everyone should strive for a career every single time. It shouldn't just be a job. A job is just to survive and pay the bills. A career is you're building a life.
Yeah.
And there's no point of just living survival mode your whole life. You might as well try to build a life for yourself. So focus on careers. I think that's step one. How could you start your career? How could you continue your career? What's the next step for your career? So then now it's, how do you build the confidence? Confidence doesn't come from an internal, I'm a very naturally confident person, but I still make stupid decisions. So the confidence.
They don't go hand in hand.
They don't go hand. A confident person doesn't mean they made a confident decision. Okay, just like how someone who's super, super shy, they still have to make decisions every single day, and they're confident in their decisions, right? So with that said, how do you get confident? Is studying about the topic, doing homework. There's a lot of people who say that this is what I want to do, but then they don't even look into it. They just say it because they may have heard something that triggered their mind to go in that direction, but they never actually did the work, the homework. So for me, before I got into this business, I was running a car wash, like I said, and for 2 years, I spoke to over 500 entrepreneurs, asking them those same questions over and over and over again. What do you do for a living? How does your business make money? Explain to me the actual business model for it, and explain to me the biggest headache in your business, right? And for 2 years, I asked over 500 people that, so now I have data. I have data. When I had almost all 500 people tell me people are my biggest problem, how confident do you think I was about getting into the recruitment business? I was pretty damn confident.
Oh, yeah.
I was pretty damn confident when it was right there in front of me, right, over time. But it took me 2 years of obsessing about business and thinking, like, what's going to be my next business? What's it going to be? What's that next step? And I was patient for 2 years. And I was asking these specific questions because I was looking for an answer, but I didn't know what that answer was going to be. But over time, the data told me. So data drives every single decision. Every decision. Because the beauty about data is it's not opinionated. It has nothing to do with which side of politics you live on. It has nothing to do with what you think about something. When the number is clear, there's no debate. Like, the data is the data. If you have accurate data, all you have to ask is, where did we get that data from, and can we trust it? If we trust the source of the data, everybody of all walks of life will agree that 45% of people like vanilla ice cream and 30% like chocolate. It's the numbers. Like, there's no debate, right? Yeah. So when the numbers are clear, now you can just make a decision just like that. It's the easiest decision ever. So that's how you get confident with it. And that was what my TED Talk was all about, is with every important decision, it's just take the time and just look into it a little more.
A little bit on topic, a little bit off topic. What I like about you is you said, I had this company for a few years. I knew it wasn't going to last. Not a lot of people realize that you can take the time and do stepping stones and maybe start this job or start a different career to test it out and to wait for a little bit until you know exactly what it is you want to do and figure it out and make informed, conscious decisions. They just figure that they need to go to school, have a career, and they don't realize that they can take the time in between to make sure that's what they want to do.
And my interview question that there's no way in hell an HR person is asking it. When I interview with someone, I ask them this. I say, what's your life like at home? And what do you not like about it? I want to know your personal life. And then they're like, what do you mean? It's like, well, tell me about your personal life. Why are you trying to get a new job? There's something not right. I want to know what is bothering you at home.
Yeah.
And the moment you know that, then you can start coming up with a solution for it.
Yeah.
Right? And then that's where you could start thinking about, okay, well, we've for some reason, someone invented this whole thing about like work-life balance and that work is separate than your life.
It's all together.
The dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Whoever invented that literally ruined society. It's the dumbest thing that they planted, even me growing up as a kid. Like, it's like, oh, you want to find a job that gives you work-life balance. What the hell are you talking about? You're alive when you're at work, right? Like this, you're alive, you're present.
It's part of your life.
It's part of your life. So what do you mean separate? What are you talking about separate, right? It makes no sense. When someone is at true happiness is what I find that they're enjoying their day at work and it's part of their life. And not only is it part of their life, when it's time to actually punch out and you're leaving work and you're going home, that job gives you the home that you have. If you're dreaming about a better home, get a job that gets you the better home. It's all connected. The job is even, if anything, the most important thing about your life. Because that's what's gonna give you the luxuries that you wanna have in life, whatever they may be for every person. So it is 100% not separated. And the first thing anyone should do is look at what life do they wanna have, and then find a job and a career that will give them the life that they wanna have. A lot of people, they think they do it the opposite way. They go get a job, and they think that job is gonna give them enough money to get their dreams, but then one day, fast forward 30 years, they realize they didn't accomplish anything because they had the wrong job the whole time. It never gave them enough money or enough time or enough freedom to be able to do the things that they wanted in life, and then that's when a midlife crisis happens.
Exactly.
Okay, because they realize they didn't get to accomplish the things that they've been trying to accomplish.
Yep.
But if at step one, you focus on like, what do I want to accomplish? And you always ask yourself that question. Like I've been asking myself that question for the last 8-9 years. Constantly, like, what is it that I want at home? And is this business giving it to me? Even today, like even in my business, I think of okay, well, maybe I should structure the business a little bit differently because it'll make my home life a little bit better. And I always think about it, and they're connected. So that's kind of my advice to anybody out there who is who's unsatisfied with the work that they're in, and they need to just focus on what is it that is at their home that they need to fix. Then you ask does my work fix that problem? Right? And if it does, great, stay with it, commit to it. If it doesn't, get a new job or move or whatever the answer is, right? But that's what we do all day long is we try to find people's problems on both sides, the business's problem and the job seeker's problem, and they have to be a solution for each other.
I really like what you say, and I think a lot of it has to do with people have fear, and you help them alleviate that fear of maybe changing careers, finding what's going to make them happy at home, at work, whether they're going to be moving or not. And I really think we need to have a lot more people out there helping people find jobs and businesses find the right people. And I really do appreciate you for being here today.
No, thank you so much. And it's like my last little thing is just like how at home, to make this extremely relatable. Happy wife, happy life, right?
Exactly.
In a business, happy employee, happy life.
Exactly.
That's it. That is it, and life gets better from there.
Oh, thank you so much, Christian, for being here. I really do appreciate it. And again, today, this podcast was sponsored by Auntie Aldo's Kitchen, and she is famous for her amazing hand pies, baked goods, pastries, and she's located in the Windsor, Essex County area. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on this podcast so we can continue to make more podcasts that you love. Again, my name is Tracy Martins, and I want to thank you for joining me for another episode of YQG and Bloom. You guys have a great day.